Alright, well, I'm trying to do some videos to show some things that may be helpful to people doing sound. And today I've got some speakers here and a battery. I'm going to show you something that most people probably do know if you've been working in sound for any period of time, working with speakers, hooking them up. This applies to home hi-fi as well. And I'm going to show you something that you probably don't know or might not have seen before. I've got a couple speakers here. Here's a really old Wolverine coaxial. I think it's an Electro Voice. Clearly it's seen better days, but and a 9-volt battery. And if you take the plus, the smaller terminal of a 9-volt battery, and you put it to a terminal. Now these are marked T1 and T2. There's no red or black. We don't really know what's plus on the speaker, but if we put the plus side to one of them, and you can see that it's moving inward, which means that that's backwards. If we put the plus to the other terminal, it moves outward. The plus of the battery, whatever terminal it touches that causes the speaker to move outward, is the plus terminal of the speaker itself. JBL actually put out a whole series of speakers for many years that all their speakers are wired plus causes the speaker to move in. So on a JBL speaker, the older versions, the positive terminal to the red would cause the speaker to move in, which means that if you intermixed JBL with other speakers, you had to wire all the JBLs backwards, or the red terminal on the JBL would be equivalent to the black terminal of everything else. Pretty straightforward stuff. Here's another speaker that came out of the micro wedge. You got a red and a black here. Plus terminal of the battery to the red terminal, and the speaker moves outward. This applies to home hi-fi. I mean, when you got the speaker yourself, you can check to see if the red terminal truly is the positive terminal. Home hi-fi stuff. Here's an old KLH speaker. These are really cool. They're all handmade. And, back when speakers were kind of more homemade-ish. I'll take the plus terminal to one of these, and should move outward, and there we go. And if you have the wiring in your home stereo, you can actually unplug the wires from the amp, take the grills off, and make sure all your speakers are moving the proper direction. The red terminals of the amp would be the positive terminal of the speaker, which would be the plus of the battery. Now, what you may not know is that you do not need a battery to test whether a speaker is good. So testing with the battery not only checks the polarity of the speaker, but it also tells you there's an electrical connection. Another way, if you're out in the field and you have a speaker that you don't know if it works or not, and you want to see if it's electrically connected, you can actually take any piece of metal, I've got a pair of scissors here, lay it across the terminals, and move the speaker. And if you kind of let it connect and unconnect, the voltage created by the speaker being shorted out will cause some noise. So I know that the speaker has a good electrical connection. So by doing this, I'm able to actually test speakers in the field without having a battery. And though it'd be nice to have a battery with you at all times, it's not always the case. And this test actually comes in handy. I learned it years and years ago before we had the money to buy new speakers. We used to buy all of the loudspeakers to build our sound systems off of out of the recycler used, and we would go out and we could quickly and easily test these speakers. You're buying speakers in pawn shops, you know, does the speaker work or not? Maybe help you get a better deal. They don't know it works. You can test it with a key and already know that it works. Alright, so that's hopefully helpful there and something a little bit interesting. And that's it for today.